We are all here. Good evening. If you desire to address the City Council during the meeting, please complete a request to speak form available at the entrance and present it to the City Clerk, or our interim City Clerk tonight, Ms. Fortune. Speakers will be called upon at the appropriate time. I am calling to order and convening the City Council and City Council as successor agency to the Community Redevelopment Agency. Tonight, our invocation will be by Pastor Alger Keogh of Azure Hills Seventh-day Adventist Church, and our Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Council Member Jackie Mitchell. Pastor Alger, if you'd come forward and please stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Father, again this evening, we simply bow in your presence as the God of the universe and the sustainer of life. We pause to thank you for the blessings that you have laid upon each present in this room and upon the city of Grand Terrace. We ask as the council meets and as decisions are made that you would guide and direct, and that your spirit would be present to prompt, that the decisions that be made tonight would be honorable to you. And so we surrender this time to you. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in pledging our nation's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Alger, and thank you, Councilmember Mitchell. Ms. Fortune, may we please have a roll call?
Councilmember Bill Hussey,
Present.
Councilmember Doug Wilson,
I am here.
Councilmember Jackie Mitchell,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Sylvia Robles,
Present.
Mayor Darcy McNaveau.
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. We have no special presentations tonight, so I'll move on to the consent calendar. The consent calendar items are expected to be routine and non-controversial. They will be acted upon by the City Council at one time without any discussion. Any council member, staff member, or citizen may request removal of an item from the consent calendar for discussion. I have no request to move an item. Would my colleagues like to remove either of the items? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move adoption of the consent calendar.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Mayor, the consent calendar has been approved. Council members Bill Hussey, Doug Wilson, and Jackie Mitchell voted A. Mayor Pro Tem voted A, and yourself voted A.
Thank you. Move on to public comment. This is an opportunity for members of the public to comment on items not appearing on the regular agenda. Because of restrictions contained in California law, the City Council may not discuss or act on any item not on the agenda, but may briefly respond to statements or make a question for clarification. I may also request a brief response from staff to questions raised during public comment, or may request a matter be agendized for a future meeting. I have one request to speak form in front of me. So the first speaker will be Sally McGuire. And apparently it's a stand-in because that does not look like Sally McGuire. Please state your name for the record.
I changed my look. I'm Anthony Cortez, the president of the Chamber of Commerce. Got a few things to talk about. We would like to recognize the Grand Terrace Chamber Member of the Month for December is Sandals Church. Sandals has created an amazing venue as a place of worship with focus of community. Come as you are atmosphere at the church. We sincerely appreciate their efforts and their contribution to the Grand Terrace community. Also, our annual holiday decorating contest is coming up. The contest is open to residents, neighborhood blocks, and businesses. The judging will take place Saturday and Sunday, December 19th and December 20th. Participants can pick up an application at the chamber office or online at gtchamber.com/holiday contest. And also, Small Business Saturday is taking place this Saturday, November 28th. We are encouraging our community to shop local. This is the day to support our local businesses. Thank you.
Thank you. I have no other requests to speak forms. Is there anybody else in the audience who would like to speak at this time? All right, seeing no takers, I'll close public comment and come back to council for their communications. I'll begin with Councilmember Bill Hussey.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. A couple of things since the last meeting. One of the highlights is the Freedom Wall dedication at Pico Park. That was a really good turnout, really nice ceremony. As a veteran, I appreciate all the hard work the community did for bringing that wall, that monument there. It was a really good job, and my hat's off to the committee for doing that, and the honored guests who come out there and speak. Another thing that really touched me, and it touched my wife's grandfather, who's a Marine and a Korean War vet. Mr. McAvoy went around and gave letters to the veterans, and I got a letter from Tanya from Mrs. Asherbanner, is it class, Terrace View Elementary School. And I read it to our grandfather, who was a Korean War vet, like I said, and it says, "Thank you for risking your life and going to war for fighting for freedom. You get a big thank you. We celebrate this holiday because of you. You are my hero." Just getting a little choked up. I thought that was really special that a second grade class would do that. And Mayor, I would like to, if we could get like some kind of recognition for those kids for writing those letters from the city, and having a teacher take time out to make sure that they did write a letter. That really means a lot. And then also later that night, we had a meet and greet at Mr. and Mrs. Morales' house with our County Supervisor James Ramos, Assembly Member Mrs. Brown, and Senator Leyva. You know, I believe they're a great team together. They were there to answer any questions from any residents. There's a lot of residents there, and it was an honor to be there, and their vision that they have, and especially for them taking care of our city. I think we're moving in a step forward, and we're going the right direction with those three at the helm. Also, I attended, me and my wife attended the first CIF football playoff for the Titans in the city of Monrovia. There was a cold front that night, so it was rather cold. The fan base was out in force. We took care of the whole bleachers on that side. But we're there to support the football team and the cheerleaders and the band. All those kids did an excellent job. Although the Titans lost 27-17, they never gave up, and they kept the clock going, and I think we have a lot to look forward to in the future with that football team. And personal note, my son Devin got married last Saturday. So I have a beautiful daughter. I mean, any girl that takes the name Hussey, she's got to be a pretty good lady. So. And also, I'd like to congratulate Mr. Adams on his daughter's marriage. And one last final thing, I just want to wish everybody a happy and safe Thanksgiving. And God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Hussey. Councilmember Wilson.
I'll be brief, Mayor. Thank you. In relation, I echo Councilman Hussey's sentiments in relation to the Freedom Wall unveiling, and I know it's a little bit too small for most people to see, but this is Jeffrey McConnell and his father. And as you know, his father's quite aged too. I know he's close to his 90s and so on, and I'm proud to be able to stand in front of it, and I plan on giving him that photo. I'd like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Hope everybody has a place to go, and that's about all I've got for today.
Thank you, Councilmember Wilson. Councilmember Mitchell.
Thank you, Mayor. My comments are brief as well. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight and participating in the council meeting. I, too, attended the Veterans Memorial Day ceremony. Veterans Day ceremony, and it was a fabulous event, one of probably the most well-attended. Quite an honor to be a part of it and see the unveiling of the wall. And I know a lot of work went into it, and just want to thank everyone for their work and their time that day. Also have a couple other things. The city manager is going to provide us an update on the first annual Light Up Grand Terrace Christmas tree lighting. I think everyone's going to be delighted to hear all the neat things planned. And I too want to end with wishing everyone a very happy Thanksgiving. I hope that you enjoy time with your family and you get some really good time to just relax and spend time with the ones that you love in your family. So happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Mitchell. Mayor Pro Tem Robles.
Today I'm going to kind of be a little bit personal in my report, given that it's going to be Thanksgiving tomorrow. I I'll start off with, I really enjoyed the wall. It was extremely beautiful. When we did the Pledge of Allegiance, I told my husband's cousin, made me think of her brother, John Juarez from Colton, who gave his life for this country in Vietnam. And when Mr. Wilson was bringing up about his family's experiences of the war, my family, part of them are natives of Texas, and I found out I'm part of the
city facilities. May we have a staff report, please?
Yes, Mayor, for the record, G. Harold Duffy, the city manager. On July 28, 2015, the city council approved resolution 2015-30 establishing policies and procedures for the naming of city-owned land, building, and facilities. Then shortly thereafter that, on August 8th, council member Hussey recommended that the city council move forward with the renaming of Pico Park. And so now that the process is established where there is a vehicle, the city has a policy, we're here tonight to ask the council to take the actions necessary to appoint a committee to review that request.
Thank you. Does council have any questions of staff?
Just want a clarification. What we're doing here, the council is not endorsing changing anything as far as a name right now. We're just setting up the framework.
That is correct. The council's policy calls for a process in which any member of the community can request a name change of a building or facility.
Right.
And
Well-
then it comes to the council, and the mayor establishes a committee.
Right. So, because when we have a council person do it, it's a little bit different than when somebody from the community. Because what I'd like to adhere to is, as a council, that we bring it up here, then someone, agrees, or we make a motion to put it on, the agenda. Because then it gets muddled between, what's a community person and what's a city council person. We're under different rules.
Well, the policy that you establish, if the council member makes a recommendation here, it would still have to go through the same process.
Right.
So either way, if a citizen does it or a
Right.
council member, it's still going to come back here to this.
There's been a request filled out, and it's coming to the council for the development of a subcommittee that would then go off and do the rest of it. Okay. So at this point, I would like to suggest that we nominate Councilmember Hussey and Mayor Pro Tem Robles to this particular subcommittee. Do I need a second on that?
Second.
Do we need a second? That was a question.
Formulating my
Mr. City Attorney.
The appointments by the mayor generally are made, and then you have a motion, a second,
Okay.
from the whole council to approve it.
Okay.
So
Can
that is
I make that
appropriate.
motion?
Yeah, and
I
you
made the
certainly can make
motion, and
motion
Councilmember Wilson has seconded it. Is there any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, please vote.
Mayor, motion passes. Council members Hussey, Wilson, and Mitchell vote A. Mayor Pro Tem votes A, and Mayor McNamara votes A.
Thank you. We'll move to item 5, which is the mayor's appointment to the Oversight Board. May we have a staff report, please?
Mayor, in accordance with the Oversight Board Procedures, Health and Safety Code, Section 34179A7, one member of employee representative unit can be nominated for the Oversight Board, and so we've had some recent staff changes. So as a result of that, and as you mentioned earlier in your earlier comments, we actually had an Oversight Board meeting without a quorum, so we were not able to have that meeting. So this action tonight will appoint Ms. Adrienne Freeman, who is an employee of the city, to be a member representing the employees on the Oversight Board.
Thank you. Staff, council have any questions of staff? Okay, I have no request to speak on this item. And as it is in the resolution that's in front of you, there is the appointment by the mayor, but it's up for ratification by this body. So I'm looking for a motion and a second on this.
Mayor, I move approval for resolution number 2015-blank. Resolution of the City Council of the City of Grand Terrace ratifying and approving the appointment by the mayor of the City of Grand Terrace of one member to the Oversight Board of the successor agency for the former Grand Terrace Redevelopment Agency pursuant to Health and Safety Code Section 34179 as constituted in this agenda item.
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? We have a motion and a second. Please vote.
Mayor, motion passes. Council members Hussey, Wilson, and Mitchell vote A. Mayor Pro Tem votes A, and the mayor votes A.
Thank you. And we'll move to item 6, which is the I-215 Barton Road Interchange Decorative Street Lighting Council Direction. May we have a staff report, please?
Yes, Madam Mayor, thank you. Just to ensure that I don't have problems with the microphone, I'm going to give my presentation from here. So if the council will recall, last meeting on the 10th of November, our consultant, Theron Roshan, provided a status update on the I-215 freeway project. And there were a number of items that were going to need council input, and we will follow up with those items at a later date. That had to do with the lighting we'll be discussing this evening, but it also included landscaping, deferral of the Barton Road overlay project, and signage, the sign right by the freeway off-ramps that's on the wall of the elementary school that's going to be reconstructed. But as indicated in the report, the lighting is a pressing issue due to the design of the interchange project. What was indicated by Mr. Roshan at the previous meeting was that decorative lights along the overpass, and there was a few along the roundabout, total of 8. If the city council, if it was the desire of the council to have decorative lights, the cost would be about $80,000. Now, the staff report indicated that potential funding sources is gas tax or Measure I. We found out, Sandbag staff contacted Theron this afternoon, or yesterday afternoon, and told them that the cost, the $80,000 cost, can be included in the project. So there'd be no cost to the city to have decorative lights. But the reason why this is so pressing is that the design of the structure itself, excuse me, Steve, I almost got you in the eye. The structure itself incorporates the pedestals that these decorative lights sit on, so it's an integral component of the structural design. So the Sandbag does need this, the council's decision quickly, and once that green light is given, then it's moving and it cannot be changed due to that structural component of the bridge. So with that, the actual decorative light itself, Caltrans will provide the city with the different decorative light options that are available, and we can discuss that at a later time. For the purposes of this evening's meeting, it's to green light for staff whether the decorative light is something that the city council wants to incorporate. Some considerations is that once this theme is incorporated into the Barton Road Bridge, there's future opportunities if the council wanted to carry that over further to the east and just have that theme throughout Barton Road. So that's one positive item to consider. So with that, I would recommend that the council select the decorative lighting option along the overpass and roundabout and direct staff to convey this direction to Sandbag Caltrans. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Molina. Does council have any questions of staff? Councilmember Hussey.
So Sandra, not one penny coming from the city for these lights?
No, as Mr. Roshan explained it, this project has a myriad of funding sources, and one of those funding sources specifically covers these lights, so it's not through the city.
Well, that was my concern, because my concern before you announced that is I was worried about, putting decorative lights up there when we need lights in our other residential area, and I didn't want to foresee that, but if this is part of the project, and that's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
Any other questions? Mayor Pro Tem.
On street lighting, don't we set up street lighting districts, and if residents want street lighting, they have to form a street lighting district?
Historically, the city has not. We have only 3 assessment districts where street lighting is incorporated into the assessment. However, with new projects and moving forward, that is a requirement, a condition of the project. And so we have 2 particular projects that will be coming forward to the council in the next few months to establish the assessment districts. That would include the lighting.
Any other questions? Councilmember Hussey.
This is probably out of the scope there, but you did mention that these decorative lights might incorporate with Barton Road.
What I was suggesting that if the council decided to incorporate this decorative lights element into the overpass, the council may want to consider in the future, and as funding is available, to carry that theme eastward along Barton Road, so our main corridor would have that same cohesive lighting theme. It's just a suggestion that the council could consider in the future.
If we did do that, and a suggestion to make it uniformly all the way across, the existing streetlights up there, can we utilize those and relocate them in a residential area it doesn't have? Will help us on the cost of that?
That's something we would look at, but the one thing to consider is that these streetlights are of a lower height, and what I've seen, because the light standards that are there are a higher light, they give off more illumination. Sometimes I've seen both on the street, but that's something that we could look at to see if that's a possibility.
I was just trying to throw some options out there. Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Wilson.
Mayor, I have a question for Community Development Director Sandra Molina. It's my understanding that the parameters of where this improvement is reaches all the way up to Vivienda, basically, so at least eastbound. So if you were to take Barton Road and run it all the way up to Vivienda, there are going to be improvements that are going to be necessary because Caltransit's already said that they have to do right-of-way easements and so on. If that's the case, why wouldn't they consider doing that same decorative lighting all the way up to Vivienda?
Councilmember Wilson, it's my understanding that the option is for the lighting that's along the overpass and the roundabout, but I can ask that question, explore that further.
Thank you.
City Manager Duffy.
Yes, and one of the things that the council can do is if in future development along Barton Road, you can, as part of the planning conditions with the improvements, you can continue that theme moving forward. And I think it's a great idea that Councilman, that Councilman Wilson indicated is that, we are building several new roads as a part of the process, as part of the Barton Road interchange. And so we will make contact with Sandbag to see about incorporating that same design in the process.
All right, thank you. Any other questions for staff? Okay, I have no request to speak forms on this item. Is there anybody that would like to speak at this time? Seeing no takers, I'll close public comment and come back to council for their comments and consideration of a motion.
I need an agenda to make a motion. Okay. Yeah, what is the motion? It's just we're just providing direction. I would just. There is no motion.
Madam Mayor, if I may, could the motion be to City Council direct staff to inform Sandbag that the decorative light standards is accepted by the council, and to also have staff explore further eastward?
Okay, would you like to make that motion?
Yes, I move that we recommend to staff that we would support and concept the street lighting, and also to look at extending that street lighting landscape to Vivienda and eastward on Barton Road.
So moved, so seconded.
All right, motion and second. Any further discussion? All right, please vote.
Mayor, motion passes. Council members Hussey, Wilson, and Mitchell vote A. Mayor Pro Tem Robles votes A, and the mayor votes A.
Thank you. City Manager Communications, Mr. Duffy.
Thank you, Mayor. The city needs 78 good tech-savvy people. So we need to have 100 people sign up for the city's YouTube channel so we can get our own URL. And that's basically Grand Terrace YouTube. So it's 3 easy steps. First, go to the city's webpage. Then you'll see the YouTube button. Click that button. And then subscribe. And once we get 100 subscribers, they will give us our own City of Grand Terrace YouTube. So if I had you type out the address, you wouldn't be able to figure it out. as it currently sits. So,
Mr. Duffy, would you
Yes.
consider putting that on the city's Facebook page?
yes,
That link as well?
absolutely, and we can certainly do that. In addition to that, the city hall will be closed tomorrow and Thanksgiving and the day after. But there are still emergency services if you have an issue, an outage, or something that the city needs to respond to. And certainly you can call the regular city hall number and it will give you the emergency number for, we have someone on call at all times. As mentioned earlier, the city is getting ready for Light It Up Grand Terrace. The Christmas tree lighting event will occur on December the 3rd, 2015, on the corner of Barton Road and Palm. There will be Santa Claus, firemen, popcorn, coffee and cookies. The high school marching band will be available. Children will be performing, and we should have all of the city's street decorations up by that event. The event starts at 5 to 7. The Christmas tree lighting program starts at 6:30, and the mayor will be there, and we have a magic wand for the mayor to wave and light the tree. And I think those are all my comments.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. All right, our next item is a closed session, so we will recess to closed session. We have two items to consider. One is conference with labor negotiators pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6. Agency negotiator G. Harold Duffy, City Manager, unrepresented employee, child care employees. And the second item we will consider is public employee performance evaluation pursuant to Government Code Section 54957B1, title City Manager. So we will, at this time, recess to closed session. Those of you that will be leaving while we're in closed session, thank you so much for coming out tonight, and have a blessed Thanksgiving to all of you. And perhaps some of you will be here when we return. If not, we will see you at their next regular City Council meeting held on Tuesday, December 8th, 2015 at 6 p.m. right here. Okay, I'll reconvene to open session. The council met in closed session to address two items. The first was a conference with labor negotiators pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6. There are no reportable actions on that item. Second item was public employee performance evaluation pursuant to Government Code Section 54957B1, title City Manager. We have no reportable actions on that item as well. So at this time, I'm going to adjourn our council meeting. We'll adjourn to the next regular city council meeting that will be held on Tuesday, December 8th, 2015 at 6 p.m. Agenda item requests must be submitted in writing to city clerk's office no later than 14 days preceding this meeting. Thank you to those who came out tonight. Thank you to staff. And thank you to my colleagues for your attention to these items. And one more time, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. We are adjourned.